Hello. Thanks for popping in. We're continuing to look at the Commodore PC10-3. And I think I have it hooked up to an input on this monitor, I believe. So I'm going to turn it on. Oh, look at that. Now, of course, it says no scan from keyboard. There is no keyboard. I seem to remember they looked an awful lot like the keyboards for the Amiga 2000. Are they compatible? I would suspect they are not. But I don't know. But anyway, from what I can tell, it does indeed have a hard drive in it. It's spinning. That's a good sign. I don't hear any horrible noises coming from inside either. I mean, I could just be hearing the fan. $1701. From what Steve Gray told me, 1701 means, yo, there's no keyboard. Boot disk failure. Type any key to retry. Well, I don't have a keyboard. Now, from what I do see here, the hard drive is trying. There is, on the side here, I believe, I thought. Ah, I have to get it far enough in. It's a reset switch. This brings back memories. So this was 1987 by Commodore and Phoenix Software Associates. I wonder if that ever had something to do with Mr. Peddle or not. I have no clue. Anyway, I'm suspecting it's just going to keep doing the same thing. I think. But I don't know. Certainly there is much activity, or there seems to be much activity on the hard drive. Oh. Ah, okay. Perhaps boot disk failure. Well, perhaps the hard drive is trying to do things. It did go over to the floppy drive. It did. Oh, dear. Well, yeah, that should be fine. I have not had one of these opened in maybe 30 years. And it feels like the screw is quite happy to stay. Whew. Excuse me, one moment. So, if I remember rightly, and I may not, there were 6 screws. 2 on each side, 2 on the back. Of cables anyway, I believe this should come off. Perhaps the reset switch is causing trouble. Excuse me. Oh. Okay. We don't need that in there either. Do we have a feeling? Oh yeah. Note to self. The reset switch may be troublesome. Now as you can see, that case is dirty. It is. So, I have the machine. Open. I don't suspect anything that I do now is going to make any difference. Okay, definitely the fan is up and running. I kind of wish the fan wasn't running, because that may be what I'm hearing that I thought was the hard drive. Maybe. Oh, there's the floppy drive. Anyway, there's no way I can stop the fan that I'm aware of. This activity light may just be that the hard drive is trying desperately to come to life. It might. See, I don't hear the typical clicking and stuff. There is, of course, the ever popular problem with stiction, and that is that a hard drive, especially after it's been sitting for a long time, does not want to spin, or it may want to, it just can't get going. Let's see here. I must decide how brave I am. Or maybe before I do that, I'm just wondering, can I get a reasonable smack on this thing? You don't want to smack it too hard. Especially if it's actually spinning. But you see, I'm not hearing what I would say would be typical hard drive noises. Let's go to the floppy. And I do not have any discs handy for this. Okay. So I think I'm going to be brave. Oh, perhaps foolish. One thing though, I think the cabling is long enough that if I should take this out, yeah. If you should drop a screw, don't leave it sitting on the circuit board. Anyway, if I get this thing out of here, I'm thinking two things. If it is suffering from stiction, I should be able to get enough of a tap on it that if it will go, to make it go. Also, I can hold it right up to my ear, I think, and here, if it's really spinning. So let's see here. Oh. Oh. Okay, we were tied in by wires. So there's a Mini Scribe Corporation hard drive from 1988, it looks like. All right, first I'm going to listen and see if I think this is spinning. And the answer is yes, I believe it is. Now, was it spinning before I moved it around? I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Oh, I was just going to say, I don't see any activity via the LED, but that's because it's not plugged in. Well, it seems much the same. I suppose another thing I can do, which will make no difference, but you know, what the heck, is just to pull off the cables and put them back on. And sort of reseat them a bit over here. The chances that this will do anything is pretty much zero. But we must try. I guess it was hard to see if anything is changing. If the monitor is not on. Well, it is nothing if not consistent. I suppose there is one thing. It's a funny thing, this LED thing. There's a connector that comes out, and then there's a connector. Unfortunately, they're both female connectors. So there's just two little pieces of wire stuck in there. I don't suspect that's a factory installation, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. I think what I'm going to do is try and get the cables out of the way. And turn this on and give this just a little extra incentive. But it will make no difference, I'm sure. Where did it Well, it seems to be doing much the same, which is not much of anything. Well, now just because it doesn't boot off the hard drive, it doesn't mean the hard drive is bad. The hard drive may not have the booting stuff on it. This machine may have typically booted off a floppy, which would then light everything up. Do I believe that? No, not really, but it's possible. It's possible. It is funny. Ooh, this reminds me. Glass. Just looking to see if there's anything else. But, you know, it's obviously failed. And the reason I do that, there is a reason, is because... Hello? Who's that? Is that Sheldon? Or is that Penny? Penny, come on. Penny, come on up on the chair. Yes, it is Penny. Alright, Penny. Want to come here? Let's tell a little story. Oh, yes. Penny, Penny, Penny. I know, no. Penny, Penny, Penny. Here, let's meet you, dear. So, when I was in Florida, and I had a computer store, there was a fellow who ran a mortgage company. And he had another fellow who did computer things for him, which was supposed to include, of course, the most essential thing you can possibly do, and that is backups. Well, not to say that this fellow wasn't reliable, but I guess he wasn't reliable, because he had never done a backup of the hard drive. Right? Isn't that sad? So, I know. But you want to get down? Okay. Thank you for coming. Oh. Anyway, so then the hard drive stopped working. Hi. So this guy didn't have printouts, he didn't have anything. It was a disaster. Disaster. Anyway, I am not, there are some things I'm not good at monitors. I'm really not great with hard drives that aren't working. But I said, I'll have a look. And I did, much like this, I had the hard drive turned over, and I did see something that looked, well, I can't say burned, but certainly discolored. I thought, well, that is strange. And of course it was strange. So it ended up, it was there were two of these things, and they were in the electronic world, which I should know more about what this means, etc., etc. But anyway, they were a Darlington pair. And indeed, there was something not right with them. So a fellow I worked with, for a while I worked at the warehouse in the computer department, or the data department, or whatever they called it, of Winn-Dixie, which was a big supermarket, which I'm sure it still is. And it was interesting there. Anyway, there was a fellow there, and his name was Billy, and he was pretty brilliant. So I told him what I thought, and he came over and had a look, and he said, yeah, you know what, you gotta get those unsoldered and replace them, and maybe it'll work. And miracle of miracles, once those were replaced, the hard drive came up, the data was saved, the hard drive was saved. I did, I think, 3 backups of the hard drive before I would even let the machine walk out the door. And actually, you know what I think? If I remember rightly, I did 3 backups, I gave him 2, and I told him, I have another in case there's real tragedy. You know, this was all, I think it was encrypted, and anyway, still, he didn't care. He was just happy, he had the drive working, he had backups, I showed him how to do backups. I believe he was no longer in need of the services of the fellow who was supposedly servicing him. And once in a while he would pop by and hand me some fresh backups, which I would store very carefully away. No, they weren't marked. Nobody knew what they were. There was not, like, oh, privacy, oh. This was just, so he had an off-site thing, and I had them very carefully stored away, and he never had another problem again. But he did backups, I think, pretty much daily. But he would only pop in about once a month. Anyway, it was a miracle. A miracle it was. Most people just say, oh, well, you're screwed. But that was not how we operated then, or how I operate now. If there's a chance, might as well give it a try. Anyway, so this is a Commodore PC10-3, and it does not have a hard drive. I wish it did have a hard drive, because maybe if I could type a key in, that would help. I don't think it would. I think I need just, I think so. I think. Anyway, it does seem to somewhat function. Possibly. Maybe. Anyway, from time to time I will continue to explore this machine and see what I can do. I guess I'm going to try and find a keyboard that I could at least press the key and see what's what. What else? I don't know what else I will try. I don't know what else I will do. I mean, this is not really my thing. So, who knows? Maybe I'll just put it up for sale. Anyway, if you have any thoughts or comments, I'm all ears. Thank you for coming. Until we meet again, stay safe, stay home, stay healthy. Bye for now. Hello. Here's the front of the PC10. There's the LED flashing. And if we look up over the top, We'll see the hard drive that I have loosened and checked out and determined it is spinning, but it is not booting off of it. And then there's not much more to see here, except a little bit of the circuit board, and I guess the hard drive controller, and that other card might be something to do with the printer. I don't know. I just don't know. And there, in front of us, is the two wires that come out of the two female connectors and join them so that the hard drive LED will flash. Once again, I would be surprised if that was a factory installation, but then maybe not at all surprised. Stranger things have happened, stranger things have appeared out of the Commodore factory. Anyway, thanks for coming. There's a bit of a close-up look of the machine. Stay tuned, we'll see if what else becomes of this machine, or if it finds a new home. Bye for now.